Welcome back to our Untoxic podcast. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Morgan.
And we are here with a very exciting episode. We have so much to chat about. It's going to be approximately 4 hours long,
Yes.
if I had to guess. So before I officially get started, I have 2 housekeeping things. One, I'm going to be posting on the podcast page a giveaway / a discounted ticket price for a party at Lightbox. It's a garden party. We have a special code for listeners to take some money off. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be super fun. I will be there and sipping wine, wearing a floral dress.
Ooh, love.
It'll be a dream. And second, you will notice that Bree is not with us. Though this is another beautiful dark-haired female. This is not Bree.
Thank you.
But she is taking a small hiatus, which you probably have picked up on being that she has not been here. But she is just going to take a longer hiatus, and you might not see her at all for a while, but it's all love. She's amazing, beautiful, fantastic, force of nature. We still love her. I still see her a lot off camera. But she just only has so much energy, as we all do. And she does not have the capacity to take on the podcast in addition to everything else she's juggling, which is totally understandable. We have so much love for her. But if you don't see her for a while, that's why I just wanted to get it out there. We love her. We're big Brie fans, but she's not going to be in the podcast for a while. So hopefully we'll see her again in the future. But for now, just support her in Skinwise and all of her other endeavors.
Period.
Questions? The problem is that both of us talk really fast.
Yes.
And we get really excited.
I love it though.
I love it.
I love it. So.
It's the appropriate speed for me as someone who listens to podcasts at like 1.25 speed.
Yeah.
So I have things to talk about, but first I want to get into who you are so people aren't like, wait,
Okay.
who is this?
Yeah, like deepest fears and regrets.
Everything. Yeah. Yeah. Most embarrassing moment.
Oh my gosh, not that again.
No.
So many though, so it's fine.
Okay. So for somebody who's never met you, give me an explanation on who you are.
Okay, 5'7" 3/4. I'm half Latina.
Yeah.
My favorite color is red. I'm a Christian. I love ping pong. Have around 5 tattoos. Okay,
Amazing.
This is like not what you're asking. I
This is
love
exactly what I'm asking.
Yeah, I love marketing. I love social media. I'm from Green Bay, so I'm a huge Packers sports fan.
Yeah.
Hannah, what am I missing here?
Let's see. Single?
I am single. Yes,
Yay.
forgot about that. I love vintage clothes and fashion. And I don't like eyeballs, so I feel
Ooh,
like.
I didn't know that about you actually.
Oh yeah, I'm terrified.
Should I close my eyes to be
No,
more-
that's fine. But
Okay.
anyone who like is changing their contacts or
Oh,
like pink
yeah.
eye or flips their eyelid, I like vomit on sight. So
I
it's
have
very
that
gross.
with like mouth stuff. Like if I'm watching
Oh,
a show
okay.
and someone's brushing their teeth, I have to like look away from the show. Or in
Interesting.
person, like if someone's talking to me while they're brushing their teeth at a sleepover, I'm like, I don't know why it grosses me
Interesting.
out.
So
So
like
bad.
you and your husband just like is that,
I go to the other room. Like,
Wow,
I like,
okay.
be brushing my teeth. I walk in the other room. Usually scroll TikTok.
So
and
where did
then-
yours come from? Like your fear?
I have
or
no
whatever?
idea.
Okay.
Also, fun fact: I've never chewed a piece of gum. Like
What?
ever. It's part of the mouth thing. It grosses me out. Like the fact that, or if
Interesting.
someone's around me and they're chomping their gum, or
You're
it's
missing
like,
out, Hannah.
I don't know. I don't like it, and I'm a fan
Really?
of fresh breath, obviously. But
Yeah.
the idea of having like a little piece of putty that you just chew over and over and you just don't consume it and then you spit it out, it just grosses me out.
So are you big like mint girl or okay?
Yeah. Not mint chocolate
Interesting.
chip ice cream. I don't
No,
know.
but like you would have like a Tic Tac.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh yeah. Like a breath mint. Great.
Yeah.
But just the concept of gum
Interesting.
grosses me out.
Fascinating.
I tried to like chew a piece one time for a photo shoot because the photographer had a vision of me blowing a bubble and I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know how. I can't explain to you enough. I've never done this. I've never even chewed a piece of gum. And she was trying to explain like how you blow a bubble with gum. And I
Yeah.
was like, I can't do it. I just don't know how.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho,
No, I
back
get
to
it.
you.
I get it. I get it. So,
What brought you to Springfield in the first place?
great question. So I'm from Green Bay. Love it there. Like it's residential. It's gorgeous. The crime rate is very low, but there's really just like nothing to do there after 11 p.m. Like it's not a college city. It's pretty
Right.
much the Packers and then like lake time in the summer. And
Yeah.
so for me, I was like, okay, it's freezing cold here. I want to go to college out of state.
Yeah.
And so I had looked at a few different places and did a couple different tours. And then when I visited Evangel, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This
Right.
is home, you know? And so I went there and obviously I've gotten a job since then, multiple jobs. And then,
You get it, girl.
yeah. So I think it's hard because I've never thought that I'd be in Springfield this long.
Yeah.
Ever. I really thought that I would already be in Europe at this point and whatnot. Still praying to God that can happen soon. I don't really know. But yeah, I guess that's a little bit of my origin story there.
I love it. So we
yeah.
met through Instagram.
We did.
I met most important people in my life. So it was almost a year ago. We're almost at a year of being friends.
I was
but
literally thinking about that earlier today. I was like, oh my gosh, it's more than our half friend anniversary.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming up on a whole year, which is we'll have to celebrate by doing
I was
the
gonna
exact
say,
same
we can be so
thing.
corny and have like a balloon. Like
I will. No, you got to celebrate the small stuff in life.
Yeah.
Like you have to find every reason to celebrate. Otherwise, life is just a desolate wasteland of
Exactly.
sadness. So we met because I don't know about you. I had creeped on you many times.
I definitely creeped on you before too, because
Okay.
after that big Vantage event you did,
Yeah.
that's when we were like, oh, who is this girl? Blah blah blah. And but
Well,
yeah.
I knew you. I knew Keeping Up With Kash. Like I knew
Oh my God,
who
this
you
is
were, and I knew Kash Money Morgan. Like it all. I didn't really have a complete view of what everything was. I just knew there was one and the same. There's a podcast, and I remember creeping and. Like I saw your podcast party was huge. I'm like, she is such a big deal. And I thought you would be
But it's, like, so not.
mean. But I thought just looking at you, I'm like, she's so pretty. And just like you have this intense like smize in your pictures. I'm like,
Wow, you're so
she's mean for sure. Like we would not get along. I don't know what it is, but like it's just, we wouldn't jive.
Yeah.
She's too cool. We wouldn't click. You would think I'm lame basically. And then
Never.
I think I messaged you first, but I don't know what it was about even at this point.
Yeah. I think you're just like, Queen, like, can we just get dinner? And I was like,
Yeah.
yes. And I was actually thinking about this on the drive here because I feel like in life, there's been like a handful of people I've met where not like love at first sight, but it's kind of like you meet them and then like personality wise, you're like, ooh, like,
Yeah, we just
this
clicked.
is different. Yeah.
Well, that's my whole philosophy with girls is that I don't like to be like enemies. I don't like to be
Yeah.
at odds with people, but it's always an instinct to think someone won't like you. And I don't know why that is. If it is rooted in high school or something else,
Yeah.
because I've had mean girl experiences for sure, but in my adult life, more often than not, girls are just nice. And you always have that realization when you're talking to somebody and you're like, oh, I thought you would hate me. And they're like, I thought
Yeah.
you would hate me. So I don't know why that's always the instinct for
Yeah.
us to think that other girls won't like us. And it's really sad, but I think it's probably turning a little bit now. But
Yeah.
if I'm ever unsure, we'll just make the first move and be like, hey, you're so pretty.
I love that.
And then just see how it
I'm
goes.
so glad you did because I was like, oh, of course. Like, I always want to make more friends.
It's also like a good tool for insecurity. Like if I'm ever looking at somebody and I'm like, oh my gosh, their skin is so pretty. Like she's beautiful. Like I'm just feeling insecure. Then I will always compliment them on like the thing that I feel like is better than me. So
Interesting.
And then it feels like for some reason it takes the power away from me being embarrassed.
Yeah.
So if I'm like friends with somebody or there's a girl online who has like the perfect bikini body, like she looks so good, I'm jealous and it's just not like I can't get over it, then I
Yeah.
always will just compliment her and be like, you are so fit, like your body is insane.
Yeah.
You are so hot. Because then I don't know what I'm thinking in my head that someone's gonna be like, that girl's hotter than you. Because at that point I can say, I know. Like, because then I don't know what it is.
Fascinating.
If that
I
makes
feel
any sense.
like I am a little bit different than you in a little bit in that sense where, and I think maybe just in the past, like guys in my past, it would be like, I felt like not certain guys, but whatever. I was always like pinned against another woman. So I guess in my mind, like if I saw you and I'm like, oh, you're beautiful, you're killing it, like this and this, I didn't feel that like competitive wave. But when it's like girls that look a lot like me and typically like, that's where I get more of like that weird of like, oh, is she better than me? Like, are you going to pick her over me just because I think that's more of like my traumatic past in that area? So
sense.
I don't know. I guess, you know, if she looks a lot like me, then I'm like, okay, like we're not going to get along. Like, is she, you know, that's
So
where.
no brunette friends.
Well, I have a few. Shout out my queen Kylie. But yeah,
That's interesting.
most like unintentionally. Like I
Yeah.
just have a lot of blonde friends and, you know, redhead friends and all the things. I'm like,
That makes sense though.
Yeah.
That's really interesting because I don't think that mine has been necessarily like men pitting me against a different girl, but I think for a long time I didn't come into like my own self. So through high school and junior high and even middle school before that, I feel like I struggled with my skin or like not knowing how to do makeup, or I felt like I like hit puberty before everybody else. So then I didn't know how to
Which is
like,
so
dress
crazy
for my
because
body.
you literally like, look at us. Like, I'm like, these clothes my brother could wear. And then it's like gorgeous,
depends on the
gorgina,
day.
like makeup
Truly.
slay.
Well, thank you. It honestly depends the day. Like I've shown up to record in way of a less flattering outfit than what you have on right now. I think it's so cute. You just look timeless and
Thanks, man.
fabulous.
You're so slay.
But I think that's where my like insecurity, I guess, came from, is that I was never like the hottest friend in my friend group in high school when it really matters, you know, whenever that's all you care about. I feel like all my friends were like tinier and prettier and just like petite little cute girls. And I just never really felt like that. I felt like the Taylor Swift lyric where it's like, I'm the monster on the hill. I don't know why. It just-
Interesting.
so then from there, the insecurity was all about like what they have that I don't have. So that's been my way of diffusing it as I get older, is just if they have something that I don't have, or they're better at something than me, or they look better, like whatever it is on whatever level of shallow or not, if I can just tell them I admire that, then
That's
what
good.
power does my insecurity have anymore?
Yeah.
So
And also, I've noticed that like Springfield schools are, I just feel like a lot more bougier than Wisconsin schools. Like we had a couple schools that had a lot of money and were vibes, but I look at like Nick's out here with that. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like,
Nick's alone.
I just feel like a lot of that stuff was like so much more competitive, not like status minded,
Yeah.
but when I went to high school, like I did not care what anybody thought, you
Yeah.
know? And granted, I was like, also not like Miss Popular or whatever. I just kind of was like, you're cool, I'll be in this group, blah, blah, blah. You know, just very like,
Right.
but I switched schools in the middle of my high school. So I was just trying to sort of, you know, live, laugh, and love. But, but I definitely noticed like moving here, there's just a lot of investing into high schools and there's a lot higher pressure. I feel like a little bit where I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're in high school and you have these many followers and you're wild.
Oh yeah, like there's like 17-year-olds with 20,000 followers.
Like, oh my gosh, like what?
Oh, it's insane. It's like the craziest thing. And there was such a hierarchy. Like it would be funny to have a reflection episode on everything that happened in the high school era, but it would only be interesting to people who went to high school in the same time that I went to high school.
Yeah.
But there were just so many things like almost culturally that like the places that we hung out and the girls that were really popular and the things that we would tweet and like what you could and couldn't. It just was such an ecosystem that was unique to this area.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that I have to compare it to would be TV schools.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's necessarily realistic, but at the same time, I do feel like I had the stereotypical high school experience with like the school was big enough that there were the hierarchies and like the different stereotypes of people, the cliques, but it was small enough that everyone pretty much knew everybody. So it was the weirdest combination of a lot of what is portrayed in TV and movies was reflected in my high school. So
not me being like, mine was Monster High. I'm just, I'm just kidding. No, stop. Like, stop.
No, but seriously, mine was like sick, like stereotypical. It was so,
she's like High School Musical was actually my school. So.
Yeah, literally.
I believe it. I mean,
at least that was my experience. There's someone could be listening and being like, what did you go through? Like, what are you talking about? But also I watched a lot of like Netflix in high school whenever I was straight up not having a good time. So I would watch so much One Tree Hill and everything else. So maybe I'm just like marrying the two experiences, like what actually happened to what I watched because I was avoiding things. But anyways, now that we've done
now that we've, you know, our origins
so
dumped.
Okay, I have a story that I want to tell.
Yes.
And this has to do with my weekend, and then I have some more things that we can talk about. But first and foremost, I got back from Charleston yesterday. I went to go see my brother. I was there from Saturday through Tuesday, so a short little trip. The game plan was to fly out, see a couple baseball games, and then come back on Tuesday and then hit the ground running, which is what I'm doing. I kind of crash landed more so into the week, I feel like, but I made it back. So,
Still slaying.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So rundown Saturday, got up super early, flew out there. Flights were great. Everything was fine. I was in like a super chatty mood. So as I was flying out, I met this guy. Of course, when you're flying solo, I don't buy seats because I'm like, I'm going to be stuck by somebody I don't know anyway. So why would I pay for the seats? So first one, I'm sitting next to this guy. He's like an older, more like Texas guy. And my layover's in Dallas. That's where he's going. So we get to talking and I'm just yapping away. Like I'm that person on this flight.
Question, what time was your flight?
It was at 8 a.m.
And you're yapping the whole flight?
I'm yapping. Yeah.
That's wild. I'm like knocked out. I'm like,
no.
The next flight you can talk to me. The first one,
no.
It's just music and sleeping.
It would have been, but then I was just like in a good mood. I'm like happy to see my brother. It's sunshiny. I'm just chit-chatting away. So we're talking. He's going to Reno. He's got this stuff going on. And we leave. He's like, tell your brother good luck at his games. I'm like, will do. Then next flight, I'm in line. I'm on the jet bridge and I'm talking to these women and they are coming back from Salt Lake City. And I was like, oh my gosh, is it your first time in Salt Lake City? They said, yes, we have never been there before. We went to Park City. It was so fun. It's like a Hallmark movie. And I was telling them how I convinced Austin that when we got engaged, you're supposed to take an engagement honeymoon as well. So we took ours in Salt Lake City. It was so fun. And we were talking about that. And I was like, was it a vacation? What'd you go out there for? And they said, no, it was for a funeral, but we just decided to make it a vacation. They said, you know what, when you go to, because they were older. They said, when you go to so many funerals, like,
just passed away. Yeah. That's crazy, bro.
They're like, you have to make it into like a fun thing. If we got to go out to Utah, like we're going to do some sightseeing too. They said, that's what she would want. I said, all right. R.I.P. and respect. So
I'd be like, okay, when I pass away, you guys play Cyclone in the club, but make sure you shout out me. Like,
yes, exactly. Do it for me. But they were having such a good time. Like they showed me their pictures, everything. We get on the flight and then I'm sat next to a mother and daughter in my row and they're older too. The daughter's probably like in her 50s. The mom's in her 70s. I'm estimating. And they're wearing matching t-shirts, like the kind that say, mother and daughter trip cross country 2024. Like bright.
Like, we're going to Branson.
I know. And I'm asking them, I'm like, so what are you doing? And well, actually, no, first of all, I see the one next to me, the daughter is crocheting. I said, what are you crocheting? a dish towel. I said, I have never made a dish towel, but I've made a blanket and some shirts. Long story short, I'm showing her photos of my crocheting, the tops that I made, blankets.
Yes.
We're talking about different stitches. I was like, I can't read a pattern. I just kind of learned, and now I watch YouTube videos. And she's like, I've never watched a YouTube video. So we get into crocheting. Come to find out, she's got like 6 kids, lots of grandkids. They breed Dalmatians. They're on a vacation going to Charleston because there's a lot of haunted like landmarks in Charleston.
Yeah.
So we just got to chit chatting, and then we left, and I will never see them again. But I don't know. I was really feeling it that day.
Yeah.
So I Ubered straight from the field, or from the airport to the field. The guy picked me up.
Was that pricey?
No,
Straight
actually
to the
not.
field?
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
It's pretty close. It's like 15 minutes away. So it wasn't that bad. But the Uber picked me up, took me straight there. And I was planning on dropping my big bag off into my brother's car before I walked into the game. But I'm watching on the little Game Changer app. He's like on deck. He's about to come up next. And I'm like, can you just take me to the front of the field? So the Uber driver, like his English wasn't great, but he was like, oh yeah. So he pulls me up into the concourse. So they have the gates where you get admission to the game.
Yeah.
And luckily they're free for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. But there's like food trucks on the outside. You walk through the gates and like the field is right there. So he pulls me up right next to the food truck, like way past where you're supposed to go. And he's like, is this close enough? And I said, yes, thank you. So I grab my bag and I'm running inside.
The main character.
Literally. I was so obnoxious, but I'm running inside. I'm dragging my backpack, my sunglasses are on my head, like my bag's bouncing around. I'm running in as they say, and from Missouri, Evan Long, second baseman. And then his walk-up song is Burning Up by the Jonas Brothers. So then it starts to play. So I'm like frazzled running in, like hair askew. Literally it was like a scene from a movie. And I see him with his first at bat. And then of course I have my bag. I'm like Miley Stewart in the Hannah Montana movie. And
I'm dead.
I like whip up my phone and filming him, and it was honestly perfect timing. And I don't know how you feel about angel numbers. I don't know how I feel about them yet. I've been seeing 333 everywhere. I pulled into the field at 3:33.
Wow.
It was just so strange. And I'm not going to get into all of that because that's just neither here nor there. Then one of the moms was like, are you Evan's sister? And I said, I am. And then she was so cute. She's like, I saved you a seat. Come on over here, with the cutest Texas accent. It was one of Evan's good friends' mom that happened to also be in town. So I sat with her. We were just talking about the game, and that was fantastic. Rest of the night was pretty uneventful because everyone was tired. So next day, drop him off at the field. I took his car, went to a coffee shop, was doing some work, off to a great start, got a second coffee, came back to the field, working in my little rocking chair at the front because they have rocking chairs all around because it's cute and coastal.
Nice.
And game starts, or before the game starts, my second coffee was sitting on the ledge. A strong gust of wind comes, knocks it right off, everywhere, spills everywhere. And that should have been a sign for me that things were about to take a nosedive. But I was seriously considering DoorDashing a coffee because I texted Austin to complain, and he was like, just DoorDash another one to the field. And I said, it's tempting, but that would be 3 coffees in one day. And to DoorDash it, I'm going to spend $14.
Right. Yeah.
It just seemed like I should take the loss. So I did. I was upset. I cleaned it up. And I said, whatever, it's still a beautiful day. I had one good coffee. We're going to watch this game. It's going to be awesome. So we're watching the game. We get to the second inning. I think it was the second inning. And Evan played second base. Someone hits into a double play. The third baseman throws it to Evan. And he's like on second base, catching it, about to throw. And the runner coming from first slides into him and knocks him over. And it happens so quickly. And like players get knocked over. It's not that uncommon. He gets knocked over, doesn't get up. The play keeps going. Like the runners are going around because he kind of threw the ball away. And someone's like reaching out to help him up. He's like literally pancaked on the ground, hat off, flat, not moving. So I stand up and I'm like, that's Evan. Like, it feels like my brain, everything like slowed down time wise.
Yeah.
So I'm standing up and I'm looking at him. He's not getting up. Like he hasn't even moved. Legs aren't moving. He's literally completely flat on the ground, arms splayed. And then the play stops. The trainers are running out in the field.
Yeah.
I'm still looking at him. He's not getting up. So then I took off running like around the dugout to where the fence, like you could see over it.
Yeah.
I'm looking out into the field. The players are starting to walk off. He still hasn't moved. Like has not picked his head up. His arms are still out to the side. Hat still like nothing. Hasn't even lifted anything. So then I'm like,
how terrifying.
I don't even know what came over me because I was not supposed to do this, but I ran out on the field because
come on.
I'm like, that is my little brother, and he's not moving. Like,
yeah.
And I've watched sports my whole life, and
I would have the same thing.
I've been his sister, and I've been a girlfriend of a player, but I've not been an athlete really. So I don't know like the ins and outs. And I know it's a college baseball field, but in that moment, I'm telling you, I was terrified. I was not thinking about like what I should or shouldn't do. The trainers are still out there. the players like starting to walk off. They're all kind of like looking around, like knowing something's not right. So I run out there. He's unconscious on the field. Like he's just now starting to come to. And the first thing I hear is his legs are numb, call 911.
Oh my gosh.
Then of course I'm thinking he's paralyzed. Like what is going on? I'm like sick to my stomach, but I, for some reason, like adrenaline or instinct or something took over. So I'm just in go mode and I'm like, what's going on? What do you know? They say he fell over, he hit his head, he got knocked out. He woke up, he said he couldn't feel his legs. So then I'm like, okay, if he's paralyzed, I gotta call my parent. Like, what are we gonna do? And they call the ambulance, and then he starts to wake up, and he's like, I'm fine, I can play. Like and he's slurring his words. He obviously is out of it. He's like, don't need the ambulance. Like, don't call the ambulance. And the trainer, meanwhile, is bracing his neck. Like she's holding it because they don't know if he has a neck injury or like a spinal injury yet. So she's holding it, like can't move. She's like, can someone get my hair to my face? Like she's holding it. Bless her sweet soul. Like she was so calm. And then Evan he's just stubborn. So he's like, it's fine. Like I can play. It's fine. And everyone's like, you can't play. And if I think about it when I'm editing, I'll put the video in. But one of the moms took a video of like what was happening on the field, which I am thankful for now. But he was so groggy, like couldn't think of anything. He wasn't speaking clearly. We were out on the field for probably 15 minutes before the paramedics came and they cleared him to like get up, and slowly they helped him up and he's wobbling, and he was able to walk off the field like with one of his teammates helping him and then with the trainer basically. So we go to the ambulance and he's like, I don't want to take the ambulance. Like I don't want to take the ambulance. They're saying you have to go. If there's ever like numbness, tingling in your legs after you hit your head, you have to go. That's the policy. So they said, if you want your sister to drive you, you can do that, but you have to go to the ER either way. So they checked him out in the ambulance on like the side of the field to make sure that he didn't have any weird, I don't know, something or other. And they said, okay, she can take him if he wants, like whatever your pupils do. So I take him to the ER. We walk in, we go through all the tests. Like I have to sign him in. We talk to the doctor. He got a CAT scan, like an MRI or something, and x-ray of his shoulder. We were there for a long time. And of course he's still like kind of groggy and out of it.
Yeah.
And I had to call my mom and I was like, hey, everything's okay. Evan got knocked out on the field, but he walked off. We're going to the ER. I'll keep you posted. Don't freak out.
Did you say it that calm too?
Yeah. Well, because I know
you want her to freak out.
Yeah, and they're in Missouri. Like there's nothing they can do. So
yeah,
I was trying to say it as calmly as I can. Like, and I waited until at least he had walked off the field, because I'm not going to call her and be like, hey, Evan's unconscious in the field, by the way. But Austin had been watching the game online, and he's like, what happened to Evan? Like, so people knew, and like some people were texting her and like, what happened to him? Like, what's going on? So long story short, he has a concussion, and it's a little bit more severe. So he's seeing a neurologist on Thursday, and he has a sprained AC joint, I think is what it's called, shoulder injury. So it was way better than it could have been, but it was so scary. And I don't think I really processed it because we were just in like
fight or flight.
Yeah. So we did all that stuff. We picked up his medication. By we, of course, I mean me, trying to pick up his medication out of state as someone who's not his mom, not him. I don't even have his same last name anymore. And using the school's insurance card, trying to do all these things. Like it was kind of a disaster, but we got everything taken care of. And it wasn't until we got back to his apartment, he's taking a shower, I went back to my room and called my mom. And then I was like, then I started crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was so shocking. And I know I'm laughing about it now, but it was, I literally thought I just watched him get paralyzed. And like, there's no way to describe the feeling of like looking at and being like, what did I just see? Like everything is going to change. Like, what am I going to do? And he has a tattoo on his left arm, and it has a cross and a Bible verse. And I remember looking down, and I actually like snapped a picture. We were on the field because I'm like, that is the only thing that's going to get me, like, keep me calm. So I saw his tattoo, and I was just like, God, please do not let him be paralyzed. Like, let this be a broken leg. Let this be literally anything that he can bounce back from, but like, don't let this be as serious as it's looking. And of course, whenever you hit your head, like all kinds of crazy things can happen. And I guess that's one of the symptoms. Like when you pass out, you might wake up and like not quite feel your extremities yet.
Yeah.
So he is fine in every sense except for the concussion in the shoulder. But compared to what I thought was happening,
wow,
we are totally fine. So praise God for that. But the rest of the weekend, we just kind of took it slow and chilled out. And like, we just really ate and watched iCarly, which is honestly not a bad weekend, but it's just difficult because that many emotions. And I feel bad for him, of course, because it's his senior season, and to have an injury at all is frustrating, especially one where he feels horrible. So it was a little bit crazy.
Wow.
But he's doing all right. And I made an edit of the video because we were kind of slap happy at the end of the second night. So I made an edit.
Like making memes the third night.
No, I made an edit of it. Like,
that's how we heal, baby.
Well, you have to laugh. Like I seriously, it was so emotional. But if I don't find something funny about it, then it was I was shaken up. And of course I'm by myself and I feel like I do okay in crisis situations.
Yeah.
But still, I'm like, I don't feel equipped to like do, I haven't been to the emergency room before. I don't know what to do. So then I'm being like a crazy older sister. And I'm like, is that everything that you could have checked? Like, there's nothing else wrong with him. And the doctor's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, if you're sure.
I mean, honestly, like, so my dad is, and this is like, we don't have to, but my dad's a pharmacist. And so I know like my grandpa growing up, he had like leukemia for a while, and just the way that like you really have to pester doctors sometimes and like just asking the questions and things like that. So I think that's good. Like, I don't know, sometimes people are like so trusting and that's okay. But also it's like,
yeah.
I've had surgeries done where I'm like, you didn't walk me through my results. You didn't tell me, and so I think that's good. You have to have an advocate for you. That's going to be like, hey, we need to talk about, walk me through this. What does this mean? Because I just feel like sometimes the healthcare system that lacks. So
absolutely. And I'm listening to the ER, like we're sitting in a little curtained off room. Somebody's throwing up. I can hear them like rushing somebody else back somewhere. Somebody is like asking for a second blood draw because at first when they couldn't get in, like there's just so much chaos happening. I'm like, there's no way they're paying attention to him. Like for all that there is happening in the ER, he's not dying actively. So he's going to be last priority. So that's why I was being a little extra obnoxious. And then of course, after we leave, then he's like, you weren't supposed to go in the field. And I was like, Evan, like, I don't care. It's so hard to explain.
Like, what are they going to do? I mean,
I know. I'm like, they're going to look at my brother who's for dying on the field. And they're going to say, you need to go stand behind the line.
Yeah.
I think not. I'm going to stand out there until I decide that it's appropriate for me to exit the fields.
Right.
But thank you. But no one really said anything. So that was good. I think that everyone was equally confused about what was going on because you can see people knocked down and like, tear something or like hurt their elbow or their knee. But at least in my baseball watching experience, maybe I don't know anything, but I've never seen somebody knocked out like that. So very scary. But I did make a meme of it and I sent it in our family group chat and my mom got mad.
That sounds like my family.
So
it's probably like, that's
yeah. So we thought it was funny, but at the same time, she hasn't seen him yet. They're going out there this weekend. So I think she was probably like, let me see him first.
And she's like a mom. Like I don't know. My mom, like my brother is like her baby,
Same.
So she's probably like, I
don't
know.
If there's anything that I know, like Evan is tough, almost to like a fault to where he'll pighead his way out of like taking care of himself. He's like, I'm fine, I can play. So that's why I almost was like being extra cautious so that they would check something. Cause if it was up to him, if I wasn't there, he'd be like, I don't feel any pain. Like everything's totally fine.
Gotcha.
So he would lie and then he would get brain damage.
Yeah.
So
what would he do without you?
Am I saying I'm the hero of the story? Yeah, I am actually saying I'm the hero of the story. And he was like, he's so private. He's like, I don't want attention. I don't want anyone to post about it. And I was like,
if you were a Marvel character in the story, who would you be?
The hero, whoever the hero was. I would be Tony Stark always. Okay. But that's the whole story for the weekend. So
that is wild. Oh my gosh. The fact that you're like even here right now is wild. I feel like I would have to have like 4 mental health days. I'm like, no one talked to me. I just need to process this and sit in the hot tub and vibe. So
if there's anyone offering a hot tub.
Okay, just hit me up, queen. You know where I gym. So.
That's what I mean when I say I crash landed into the week because I got back home yesterday and it was that weird time. Like I got home at 7-ish and then we get food and then we're talking and like my husband and I are catching up. Then I had to like prepare. I had to unpack and get stuff ready for today because I had stuff and I can't really take a week off necessarily. So I just crammed everything that would be in 5 days into the 3 days that are coming up. So today, tomorrow, and Friday are all busy. But they kind of have to be. Right. So, and it's not bad. It's like fun stuff. But now I'm like, I don't feel like I rested. Like I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And just like the weight of stress, it takes such a toll on your body. Last night, we were watching a YouTube video before we fell asleep. Fell asleep during the YouTube video. Like zonked out.
You gonna drop the video? Like what was it?
Oh, it was Good Mythical Morning.
Oh, okay.
We were watching Will It Taco.
Educate me because I have no idea.
Okay, it's basically this really popular food show which Austin found, and they try all these different kinds of foods, and they have this series where it's like Will It blank, like Will It Taco, Will It Soup, where they try and see if they can make different things into a taco or into soup.
Okay,
it's really cute and
like spaghetti taco from iCarly.
Yes.
Okay,
you get it.
Yeah,
we did watch so much iCarly this weekend. It was a comfort show. But we were watching that, fell asleep halfway through. This morning, Austin was like, you passed out last night. I said, I've been through a lot, okay?
Yeah, well, I feel like 1, it's just emotional and mental what you went through. And then 2, flying does knock you out when you're at that altitude. So, I mean...
Which I want to talk to you about flying.
Yeah, I don't even know how you're doing okay right now in slaying.
You know
but
what?
I'm
Caffeine,
happy to be here with you. So.
Because this is exciting. Like I had a lot of fun stuff today, so it's been good.
That's good.
But I also know that when I get home and like edit the episode and lay down, I probably will fall asleep immediately again. So we're just getting through it.
Right.
But there's always more time to sleep. So I don't want to like push stuff off. But flying, you fly standby a lot.
So one of my high school friends that I'm very close with, but I'm not girl, Keegan, she got a job at a place in Wisconsin that has an affiliate. It's like, I believe it's with an airline, but it's maybe like a branch. It's something specific. I don't know. But she loves her job. And so she's able to have a flight buddy. So there was 6 months that I was her standby partner, which I was so honored to be chosen. But it was wild. It definitely, it was cool. I met so many fun people. But yeah, I've had great flights and then I've missed and I don't know.
Did you like it? Would you do it again? Like,
oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Like if I could work for an airline on a part-time basis or something, you know, you hear me all the, you know, Delta, American, you know, the vibes, but, yeah, it's awesome. I will say like briefly my one standby experience was to Key West, Florida, which is a beautiful, beautiful place, but the airline is very small there. And so my way there, I had no problems, just vibes. And then on the way back, Keegan had caught a flight before me, which was awesome, vibes. I went to the pool and then I get to my flight and it was canceled. And so the only situation was that she is the one on the account. So she couldn't even rebook me because she was in the air. So I'm freaking out because I mean, they're talking about like canceling till the next day and freaking out. And that's where I like break down in the airport. I'm like, these people on the gate with me. I'm like, hey, I don't want to cry right now. My friend isn't answering. They're asking, you know, people are getting rebooked on hotels. I'm not. Like, I met these guys while jet skiing yesterday. Should I hit them up? Like, I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm like, okay, I don't even know what to do. And so they're like, it's okay, you know, we can help you. And I'm like, ah. And so luckily she landed. I got rebooked to North Carolina also. It goes down in Charlotte, I swear.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I ended up like just crashing the night with one of my college roommate bestie. And so I feel like God works things out. And at that point too, my luggage came in like a day later. Like every problem that could happen at the airport has happened to me where I'm kind of like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, whatever. I mean, whatever. So
it's crazy how sometimes it can be so seamless. Like my travel this time, I only had one delay and it was on the second leg of my return flights. We were just delayed on the tarmac because they said there was a traffic jam, like just too many planes waiting to take off. So we were like delayed half an hour, but it wasn't that big of a deal. But everything else, like I got to the airport, basically walked through, like checked my bag, walked through security. I'm like skipping through. There's like Snow White little like animals carrying my stuff. Like everything's happy and fun. And sometimes you have like the flight, like literally from hell. Like if they're awful, everything that can go wrong goes wrong. Stuff is lost.
Typically in Denver is where I feel like nothing good comes out of the Denver airport. Truly, but
no, I saw an Instagram story the day before I was supposed to fly home of someone that had just come from Denver, and it was like an hour-long security line, and I was like, please don't let that be me. But I don't think I've
ever. You won that pre-check wave or no?
I'm not. I should.
That was my vision board for this year.
To get pre-check.
I'm such a weird person because everyone's like, you know, blah, blah, blah.
I'm gonna drink more green juice.
I'm like, I want to learn how to play guitar. I want to skateboard better. And I want to get TSA pre-check.
No, that is so cool. First of all, pre-check, can't you pay for it?
Yes. But like I got it in Springfield and it was like the weirdest experience. Like you go into like this dungeon room, you pay a certain amount of money. It's just like the weirdest thing. But yeah, now I have pre-check and my goal is to become a lounge member because it goes down in the lounge.
Well, our credit card has like a lounge thing, but I haven't ever used it because I've never had long enough layover.
That's the thing is like I was able to go into the lounge this past Christmas and that's where networking gets done. Yeah. That's where the movers and shakers go. And I'm like, what am I doing out here with this Applebee's and this like Chicago and I'm like, I need to be in the lounge. Like I know. Like forget the Chili's.
My husband at an airport Chili's. No, that would be hilarious.
Almost.
Actually. But you never know. Imagine you just like hang out in the Delta Lounge and you're just like waiting for a man to come in. And you're like checking for a ring. You're like,
yeah, no. I mean, like the food in there is incredible. Yeah. Like everyone's just super cool. So that's.
What's your airport ritual? Like, let me give you an example. So mine, I always bring candy with me, obviously. Okay. To the point that multiple times I have been detained so my bag can be searched for all the candy because they're like, there's probably no way this girl is actually just bringing that much candy. Like it has to
How do you not have cavities? You just
I brush, girl. That's it.
She's like, I can't look at myself brush and I don't chew gum. Yeah. But
well, you know how some people they're like, oh, I just like wash my face with water and they have no acne. Okay. Yeah. I think that's me. Like I just eat so much candy and I'm like, oh, I brush my teeth like sometimes twice a day.
See, I can't even eat a Swedish fish without like 30 minutes later I break out in a zit. Like
No
it's
way.
like the weirdest thing. Like the dye, I have like an irritation to certain like dyes or things like that. It's really weird. I don't know.
Do I think that my like health and skin is negatively impacted by my diet and my coffee? Yeah, for sure. But there are some things I'm just not willing to give up. Like
But the mental health is good because
but my
of
mental
this.
health is great. But if someone said like your skin would be perfectly clear, but you have to stop drinking coffees, I'd be like, not worth it.
Yeah.
I'll take the acne. Thank you though.
Yeah.
Like at that point,
It's like me with queso. I'm like, I
Yes.
don't care how lactose. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm eating the queso.
you said I'm going to tolerate it one way or another.
Yeah.
Pretty much that. I mean, I would give up meat probably. I'm maybe some gluten, sugary coffees. It's a must. I
Yeah.
couldn't give it up. So
Interesting.
get to the airport, drop the bag, do everything else. I'll check a bag, even if it could easily fit in the overhead compartment.
Yeah.
I don't want to carry it.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop the bag.
Love it.
I'm going to go find a coffee. And if I have a longer delay, I'm going to find the emptiest part of the airport, like whatever is like lacking in people, sit down and
How long is your delay in this situation? Because I feel like that makes a difference.
well, it depends. Like if I'm just getting to getting to the airport,
Right.
usually you only have like 45 minutes or so because
Okay.
I cut it as
So
close
something
as I
slight.
can.
We're not talking like a 3-hour delay in Chicago.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But honestly, the same thing is true no matter where I go. Like first priority is to like go to the bathroom. Usually I have to pee. Then get a coffee and then find like a secluded area to sit down at. And then I
Okay.
just like hang out. Like you said, just vibe.
Yeah.
What's your deal?
So I always look cute for the airport. It does not matter if my flight is at 6 a.m. My hair will be curled and I will be wearing makeup because it's just like this is my chance.
Yeah.
To
You never
say
know.
what's up.
You
like,
never know.
Yeah, I always wear something really comfy. I get to the airport, take a mirror selfie usually or whatever. I'll get if I'm in the Springfield Branson Airport, I get a smoothie straight away.
Because you're not coffee, are you?
I like chai tea. I do, but I sleep on the first flight. So I'm like, I don't want caffeine. I'll have like a little smoothie, whatever. And I have to eat something solid because I'm so weird. Like I love flying. I've been flying since I was like 6 months old. But if I wake up and the plane is like warm and I'm hungry and I slept through the snack, like this past year has been the first year that motion sickness has been more of a thing that I have almost thrown up like on the plane. So I'm like, I don't even know what happens. Like if you open the like little seat packet and like you just throw up in there, like what happens?
Well,
I mean,
someone threw up on my flight on the way to
but like in the
Charleston.
barf bag or like inside the like,
Well, she asked for a barf bag. So she said we had really bad turbulence on the way there.
yeah.
It doesn't really affect me. I just, because I've seen the Jello thing.
I feel like, do you like roller coasters?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's why
I'm like cackling. I'm like,
I'm out here like, oh, John 3:16. Like,
no, yeah, you're praying. No, I'm over here like reading my little book and I'm just like bouncing all around. I'm like, oh, this is fine. Like, could you stop? I'm trying to read. But I really don't get nervous because I saw one TikTok one time that was like equating the plane in the air to being in Jello. Like the pressure won't allow you to fall out of the air unless like an engine blows up. So I don't have anxiety about it. I'm like, it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't make me nervous. Doesn't make me sick. But the girl in front of me, she was like, could I get a bag, please? The flight attendant passes one up because they can't even walk because the turbulence is so bad. They have to like stay in their seats. She passes one up. The girl pukes in it. And then she was like, do you want a ginger ale? And the girl goes, that would be nice. And she passes the ginger ale. And then it was like
to like hold it. Oh my god.
I know. It was like 20 minutes before landing and it was really bumpy, but she was a champ and she did, and it luckily didn't smell. I don't know if it was like the technology of the barf bag. But,
Wow.
And I don't really get secondhand sick. So I think a couple other people around her
You're just strong.
were like,
my gosh. I would have been
I
like,
don't
woo.
I felt bad for her, but it didn't really affect me. I was like, that would really suck to be that ill. But then she was fine, We did have actually a lot of turbulence on this area, so I don't know what was going on, but
Yeah, well, I was in a situation one time when like I was just not feeling good and it was warm and I had not eaten and on like all the things and turbulence and I almost threw up like in the little cubby that like is, and then my mind was like, do they fine you if you throw up in there? Like what happens in that situation?
I don't think they could fine you.
Right?
You can't
I'm
help
like,
that.
but I just never heard anything.
Should fine them for rough air. Like it's out of your
How
control.
dare you? I'm just-
Yeah, but I think you have to ask for a bag maybe, and I think sometimes they have a bag tucked in there you can take like with the safety.
They
thing.
probably had to like, they probably would have to like clean it and delay someone else and whatnot. But so typically that's the first flight. And then that second one, I'm like on lunch mode. So I'll either sit at a bar somewhere or I'll just grab lunch. And that's depending on the layover. That's when I meet people is I'll be like working and then someone's like, and whatever.
I love that.
But the airport food has gotten so expensive lately. It's insane.
Girl, I went to go buy. So I was not efficient this last one. I had so much work to do because it was Tuesday and I'm like, I want to get stuff done so I don't have to work in the evenings all week. So I found this empty terminal and I camped out and I had like an outlet. I'm right by the window. I was by myself. It was ideal. So I sat down and I worked and I had a 2.5 hour layover. I worked and then I'm like kind of across from my gate and I look over and it says boarding in 11 minutes. Haven't gone to the bathroom, haven't gotten a snack, everything. I was just like cranking stuff out. Like, Okay, so I pack everything up, go to the bathroom. I went to go buy a water and then this like buffalo chicken wrap from one of those convenience store kind of things. So I bought it and I went to go check out and it was like $21. And I'm like, why is it? My wrap was $11. It's one wrap.
Yeah.
It's not even a wrap cut in half. So I was like, could you take this off? I actually don't want it anymore. And it was just in premise paying $11 for this limp lettuce, soggy tortilla, like 3 slices of chicken wrap. I was like, absolutely not. So I had a Pop-Tart in my bag. Ate the Pop-Tart instead.
It'd be like that.
A Pop-Tart and a bag of Nerds clusters. And then I landed and I was like, Austin, can we please go get food?
Oh my gosh.
And I get that it's more expensive. Like I don't care to pay $5 for a water because I have to have the water. But when it's that bad of food, like it didn't even look appetizing. I just thought like I should probably eat something. I don't have time to go like to a real restaurant. So that was just poor time management on my part, but I get what you're saying.
Well, even in Houston, I had the most fun at like the Houston airport, but I got a drink and I got chips and guac, and like the server, you literally order on the QR code, you pay on the app, you leave a tip there. All the server does is like prepare it and bring it to you. Yes. Like that's literally it. Like they don't even talk to me. It was $40. I literally felt ill. I was like, okay, so I'm just like literally not gonna eat for 3 days. Like, I was like, this is the ultimate girl lunch because I was like sick to my stomach.
Like, it's gonna have to suffice for a while.
I know. So it's just crazy. But
you almost have to, like, all spending has to go out the window at the airport. Like, it's gonna be expensive.
Yeah.
You almost have to go into it. I'm gonna spend money more than I want to. I'm gonna get stressed out. I'm gonna get hot. That's okay. Like, you have to know things are gonna go wrong. And I think when I started flying a lot for work, you just no, it's not going to be ideal most of the time. Like something's going to happen.
Right.
If you have a perfect flight, that's a blessing. It's not the expectation and it is not the norm. It's not the standard. So if you have no hiccups, that is like a unicorn.
Right.
But once I started thinking that way, like I know I'm going to get mad. I'm going to be irritated. I'm going to stand in line. I'm going to be mad at how much I'm going to spend $28 on what?
Right.
A coffee, a water, and some Nerds clusters. That's it.
Yeah.
So once I got over that, now I have a lot more fun flying. I actually love being in the airport. Like,
oh my gosh, I love it. As you know, I mean, we need to go on a trip together.
I would love to do that.
We need to really, I mean,
but it's like the destination is amazing. I love traveling, but I love like the actual flying as well. I don't know. It's like free time almost. Like you're in between dimensions.
And I'm crazier than you. I mean, these people I give them my card. I give them my Instagram. I'm like, let's connect. Like,
I mean, I have to be in a talking mood. Like I'm not talking every flight. Sometimes on the way home, didn't really talk to anybody. Like I was kind of just in the zone.
No, I get that.
It really just depends. I admire that so much about you though.
Well, I'm on the same wavelength though. It's like if I'm in a flight where I'm like, I'm tired, don't talk to me, then
that's how you're going to meet your husband. I just know it.
I don't know. We'll see.
Like imagine you had actually called those guys.
You get those first class. Like,
it's going to be some crazy story where you just get like reassigned to a different flight. You're stranded in a ski town. Yeah. That's actually just a Hallmark movie plot, but it could work, girl.
I'm here for it. So
you honestly never know.
You never know.
I have a question for you. I know we're 42 minutes in, but I have.
Oh my gosh, that's like so crazy. What? Time flies with you, Hannah.
Thank you. I have a get to know you question.
Okay.
What's your report? To recap.
Okay.
What are you reading? What are you eating? What are you playing? What are you obsessing over? What are you recommending? And what are you treating yourself to? So first,
we're definitely gonna have to walk through each one again.
I got you. Don't worry.
Okay, so what am I reading? Yeah. I'm really not a reader. The only thing that I read is the Bible right now.
Amen.
I do listen to podcasts a lot and YouTube videos. So
I didn't get into reading until recently again.
Okay.
So
okay,
I was like a big reader as a child, and then only in the past like few months have I gotten into it. So I get it.
No, I love that. Like I know I'm sure I'm just so bad because I feel like guilty sometimes if I read something that isn't educational because I'm like, wow, Morgan, you only have so much time. Like you need to be like fueling your mind. So I feel like if I'm not on a beach or something, I feel like almost bad for reading something girly pop.
I get it. I totally get it because I went through a big nonfiction phase where I only read self-help books basically.
Yeah.
And then I hated reading. Because there's only so much that you can improve in a certain period of time. So when you're reading about like changing your mental habits and how like you can be a better Christian, then you're reading about what you should be doing with your investments, then you just feel so inadequate sometimes because there's so much that you need to improve. But taking your mind on like a journey and going to some fantasy world is such a release that you need. At least I need sometimes.
Yeah.
But I get it because I had the same pressure and it was the same for podcasts. Like I would only listen to like economic podcasts or health podcasts, and everything I was consuming was so focus on improving that I had no time to just enjoy things. And then you almost feel this constant sense of urgency of like, if I'm not improving something all the time, I'm stagnating or I'm, like you said, you're being lazy or doing something. Yeah. And whenever I stopped, and actually one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to just enjoy more things, like just have more stupid hobbies that don't make money, that don't gain me notoriety or anything, like just to enjoy them. So I finally have gotten back into like reading fiction, listening to like silly podcasts and watching silly YouTube videos and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like I listened to like Cody Co or the Dropouts podcast, or the one that I've been on airplanes and like this older man was like, we got into this huge debate about life and whatnot. And he was like, honestly, you got to read Matthew McConaughey's book. He's like, I feel like you kind of think like him a little bit, which I was like, I don't know. So that's one that I want to listen to on audiobook. I've been told like you have to listen to this because like he'll talk and his accent, I don't know, whatever. So that's what I'm planning on at some point reading or listening to.
Love that.
Okay, so that was ours.
What are you eating?
What am I eating?
Like, what's your favorite food these days? What are you like loving to make?
I really only cook one thing. I mean, I made tacos last night, but like I
Spaghetti
have this.
Tacos?
No,
or regular.
The regular. Okay. I mean, steak and asparagus. I'm like such a basic.
That's
person.
good. That's healthy.
I love it.
Upscale.
So good. Just not a very good cook, but. Yeah, and then what's the P again?
I don't know. We're on. Yeah. I'm like, wait, what? As the word that we're doing?
P, right?
It's gonna be playing. So
what does that mean?
Like music. It can be
ping pong,
podcasts.
Okay,
we could be playing ping pong. Yeah,
I've actually been playing a lot of basketball at my gym. Yeah. So I'll work out, and then I played basketball for like 2 years, and then I played intramural, and then
I love that.
I just been like, man, like I'm just gonna shoot some hoops. I want to get better. And I don't even know. There's like one dude at my gym who's kind of like weird. He's older, but he's nice. He's like, you should come play with us guys. And I'm like, I'm not gonna come play with. And
he said, you know what? I'll school you. Actually,
he's like, we play at 5:30 a.m. And he just, you know what I'm saying? When you're just kind of like, yeah. And I'm like, So that's.
I am not interested.
Yeah, I was like, first of all, 5:30 a.m. Like never. But also, I'm like, dude, I just, when someone's like kind of giving the creepy vibes. But
yeah.
Yeah, but I've been balling out, I guess, in the gym.
Wait, so how did you go from being like, no, I'm not interested to to playing basketball?
Oh, I didn't play with him.
Okay,
no, I'm not going to.
You said, you know what? Not with you, but I am going to go ahead and do that with somebody else. With someone I like more.
Well, and then he just like, do you come here by yourself all the time or with a friend? Yeah. And I'm like, it's like, what, bro?
You said I came here with a really big dude.
Yeah.
The biggest one in here, actually. That's what
I'm so bad. I used to lie. Not like, but when I used to like go to gas stations and if a dude's like, yo, you got a boyfriend? I just used to be like, oh my gosh, yes. And he's huge. Like he's a boxer.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
Okay, that's self-preservation. That's that kind of a lie.
I need to get a taser. Like that's my thing is I'm trying to get like a taser.
You just need to get a ring. Just wear a fake ring.
Yeah, but also like in a downtown dangerous situation.
That's it's more of like a bar situation that would help you.
Yeah, that's
in a downtown situation.
Bro, some of the people just do not care.
No,
so they got the ring on the finger, and I'm like,
that's true. I know. I used to have a friend that would wear a fake engagement ring that was from like Walmart or something, just so people would not like talk to her. And
did it work? Did it work? Or?
In like bars, but like if you're at a gas station and someone is like determined to hit on you, they probably still will. But it will deter people that are respectful at least. So you can consider it. Yeah, propose to yourself.
Yeah, so I've been playing basketball. I guess like music wise, I don't even know. Let me see. I did like literally pull it up. Yeah, so I'm pretty like that Cooler Than Me song by Ethan Field to put on my story. I love like Red Hot Chili Peppers, just the whole vibe. Like that's
like grunge, like 90s almost.
Love it.
Obsessed.
Yeah. Okay, what's O again? I'm so sorry. I just like literally cannot remember.
I'm giving you all the time you want to speak, so I will never cut you off while you're giving your report.
I'll never cut you off.
What are you obsessing over?
Obsessing over
can be a person, a show, like a clothing item.
Benny Hacker. I'm just kidding.
Wait, but I get it, girl. I was going to actually ask you about your celebrity crush, so we can go into that now if you want to. But
I hope he never sees this because he would never did.
Yeah, he's definitely watching my podcast.
Okay, well, I would say like person-wise, that's definitely my celebrity crush. But obsessing over,
because we obsess hard. And by we, I mean me.
Yeah. No. How I like your obsession.
You're like, yeah.
No, I know. Like your Marvel, like all of that. No, it's cute. Yeah. Like I love it.
Thank you.
I mean, I feel like I'm like a closeted obsessor. Like I like obsess over him.
Yeah.
Like it's like annoying because like watch a TikTok with an interview with him and someone else and I just like will be pissed the rest of the day.
You're like foaming at the mouth.
I'm like, I know. I'm just like, I'm like, what do I feel this way?
Like tweeting, you're like when he talks to the girl and it's Vinny Hacker.
Yeah, it would be like a picture of like my ex and I'm like, and then I'll see Vinny Hacker and I'm like,
You're posting Drake lyrics on your Instagram story. And everyone's like, who hurt her? It's Vinny Hacker.
I'm like reposting anime. Like I don't know.
Like I hope he sees this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my obsessions, I mean, I like love the Packers and whatnot, but all of that is like done with.
Yeah.
I'm a big conspiracy theorist. So I feel like I would say I do obsess over, not in too much of an unhealthy way, but I feel like like if the conversation came up and we were to like have sides, I'll bring up like citations and URLs and like social media posts.
You're
and,
like, actually, I have a paper dissertation.
yeah. So that I feel like whatever, but I
love
don't,
that.
I don't feel like besides that, I don't have like an obsession.
You should do an episode on your podcast that's about conspiracy theories.
See, I'm scared about that though, because people will think that I'm crazy. And then like, I feel like when you talk about like God or like other truths, they like put it all together. So that's why it has to be like a very trusted group where we...
That makes complete sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can unpack a lot of that too. But
yeah.
Like, I get it. You almost have to have a guest that comes on and like they could be the crazy one.
Right.
So then whenever they leave, you can be like, man, she was crazy, right?
I know. Because I'm like, we can get into it, but then people, I don't know.
No, I completely understand that. But
so I guess we'll just say lightheartedly, mildly obsessed with Benny Hacker.
In a healthy
platonic, like.
In a healthy way that would definitely translate to a normal relationship.
Yeah.
If you were to see this and then message you.
Exactly.
It is not
like,
weird.
Yeah, like I would like I'm not the kind of like not like a T-shirt poster.
Definitely not.
No, like I don't.
You don't have like an edit folder saved.
I'm like, how do you spell your name? Like,
yeah. You're like, wait, Vinny who? Like, what is it?
No, seriously.
So, speaking of celebrity crushes, like who else do you have? Are you familiar with the tier system?
Ooh, a tier system? Is this like Abby Lee Miller's The Pyramid?
Yeah.
Like,
yes, similar. So basically,
okay. So the bottom of the pyramid. Okay, I'm just kidding.
I stole this from a different podcast. I did not come up with it, but it's a tier system. Basically, tier 3 would be like people who you think like all your celebrity crushes. Like you watch a show and you're like, oh my gosh, she's so cute.
Yeah.
Then tier 2 is like you watch a movie with them and you're Googling them, like what else they've been in.
Okay.
And you like maybe watch some press tours on YouTube or like watch some TikToks. Tier 1 is like you only have one at a time and you're obsessed with them. You're like, this could be like a Vinny Hacker for you potentially.
Okay, but I feel like should we not have Vinny Hacker then in that category?
I think he could be yours. I mean, you really only have one at a time. So like you don't have it in your heart. You don't have the capacity.
It's so hard though. Yeah, I mean, I guess
for
that's
multiple.
True. Well, it also depends on what I watch.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm like watching Priscilla, it's like Jacob Odie. But
yeah. See, that could be a tier 2 though if it's only like when you're watching it.
Okay.
You know?
Okay,
so
fine. Okay, fine. In a platonic, non-weird, chill vibe way, I
that's
guess I would
the
put, like,
only
Vinny
way that I like
Hacker at the
things.
top. I guess tier 2. Okay, I feel like it's hard because I do feel as if I have a type. Like, yes, I feel like it is blondes and brunettes, whatever. But also, I am like attracted to other people, and if they're funny and they have a good vibe and whatever, like there's also a whole other category, whatever. Because I'm gonna say all these names, you're gonna be like, wow, these are literally copy and paste. Like,
that's fine.
It's like both the Hemsworth brothers, Chase Crawford from Gossip Girl, Jacob Elordi, like
yeah, checks out. Those aren't super uncommon. Like I feel like most people would agree with you.
Okay,
so those are
solid
options.
Yeah, I mean Dylan O'Brien, but like in 2016, like
yeah, yeah, I get it. I really resonate with you on that one.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's probably it.
So a lot of my celebrity crushes look pretty similar as well. And one time, one of my friends roasted me the hardest I've ever been roasted because she said every celebrity crush you have looks like Alice Cullen from Twilight. And then she sent a picture, and Alice has like the fluffy brunette hair.
Okay.
And everyone that I have had a crush on like resembles her in some way. Every actor, it's like a somewhat emaciated, like pale dude, shaggy, brunette hair.
Yeah.
And she pointed that out, and I was like, I did not need to know that.
Well, half these guys on my list are all from Australia. So I'm
I love it.
Okay. Like we were joking. No, I'm not going to tell the story. Fine. Well, I was getting bit of my friend the other night, and like our server I was like telling him, I was like, oh, I'd love to go to Australia. And he started talking the accent, and I was like, dude, you got to relax. Like, I was like, whoa, I don't even like.
Wait, could you turn the air down?
I was like, take the, the bill.
You're like, take the check, please. The check. Yeah, that would. This is my unpopular opinion. I'm not into accents.
Okay, well,
you're like, actually, oof, look at the time.
No, but Eva's not. Eva's not in accents either. But I feel like for me, it's also particular, like Australian or like British.
If I see Tom Holland and he's playing an American character and he has no accent, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I hear him talking in his accent. And I'm like a little bit loud. I'm like, oh,
fascinating.
Like go back to the American accent. I don't know what it is. Like I just think that the regular like. Have you seen Back to the Future?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I'm
it's
like such a TV show person that I know it's like you should have seen it. What's wrong with you? Like you're not educated.
Okay. But I've seen very few movies. It's just the ones that I have seen. I see them a lot. So I've watched a lot of like time wise a lot of movies, but it's the same movies. So I haven't seen a lot either. But anyways,
so no, I haven't.
Yeah,
seen it.
he just has like the trademark like accent, I guess.
Okay,
it's not important. Anywho, what are you recommending to people? Your podcast.
Yes, I guess my podcast. I guess that one thing that I will say, like I'm recommending is I just like renewed my gym membership and like we're on a 1-year commitment, right? So that's like one of my biggest commitments in life. I'm just kidding. But I like a year ago, well, yes, I recommend the podcast, Keeping Up With Kash. Always tune in, you guys. Your life will get better.
It will, like,
but I'm just kidding. But a year ago, I got a gym membership because I wanted to like go to the hot tub and the spa and whatnot because Missouri is so gray and it can be so depressing. And so that was great. But like I had a trip planned with my girls and it ended up not working out. But I was like, oh, I want to get like better abs or like be really like toned and whatever and like have a routine. And I've kind of seen myself like really just be more committed and like grow and like want an overall healthier lifestyle. And like, I mean, I don't eat the best, but like I think what I'm recommending is that you should choose like a wellness, healthy lifestyle, and it's going to look different for every single person, whether it's like try to do something active every day, whether it's like go on a walk or like eat more fruits and vegetables or like sleep good or like have a skincare routine. I don't know. I think that's something that I've really just been big on this year is like, wow, I don't know. I'm just seeing a lot of change in my life and I'm like, wow, like this is so good for you and blah, 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 and good for the mental. And I don't know.
Like it doesn't have to be the stereotypical like green juice.
Yeah.
Like the same workout, like Pilates.
Gosh, I can't be drinking green juice.
Like you could be skateboarding, playing basketball, and eating steak and asparagus. And that's, that's healthy
that's
too.
how you live the morning bagel lifestyle.
But it's true. It's like, I don't think that it should be the same for every person because I love candy, but I also eat healthy, like for my meals, you know, but I don't.
You also work out hard.
Like, I work out hard, but also it looks different. Like it's not going to be the same as, 6 months from now. I'll change my mind and be into something new. So
exactly,
it's whatever works for you.
And that was one thing. Like when we were growing up, I felt like when you had to work out, it was like you have to increase weight. You have to be like going so hard. And now, like I feel like the Pilates vibe of okay, well, like, do you enjoy it? Is this sustainable? Is this something that you just feel overall good? What's the kind of body tone you want? Like, I just feel like it's like way more open of a conversation. And
well, if you don't enjoy it, you won't stick with it. So if I'm like forcing myself to go do something that I hate, I'm gonna be like, oh, I have to work out again. Exactly. I don't feel like it, and then you burn out of it, and you don't enjoy. Like now, I pivot as frequently as I want to, and sometimes I'll stick with one kind of workout. Like I've been lifting for like a year and a half. And I love it, but if I stop loving it, I'll just switch to something else.
Exactly.
Like, it has to be something I'm enjoying. So, but then you don't get burnt out because there's no pressure to like stick to one exact thing.
Exactly.
So I'll be trying everything. Spin class right now, love spin class.
Ooh,
and as soon as it stays warm, I'll keep running. But right now it's been up and down.
Right.
What are you treating yourself to?
Well, I was treating myself to Love Island Australia.
I'm seeing a pattern.
I know. But what am I treating myself to? I don't even,
because you're not a coffee girl. So like, what's it look like?
I'm not a coffee
You're having
girl.
a bad day. You're like, I'm gonna treat myself. What do you do?
Let me see. What did I do recently? Well, Eva, my best friend, she took me to dinner and she bought us like steaks and all of that. So that was nice. Honestly, I think a coping mechanism for me is to play ping pong. Like I've recently had just some pretty emotional, heavy days. And I just played a lot of like sports and ping pong. A big treat myself would be like a massage or just like the hot tub, whatever. I'm just a really big like warm air environment, like relaxed kind of thing. And
I
don't know. I mean, if I really want to myself, like my birthday is in April and I'm gonna get my steak. Like I don't know. I mean, if I really treat myself, it's a trip. But right now the funds are like, I know, like the way that I've so badly just like this past week wanted to be like, okay, I'm booking a flight. But I'm like, Morgan, you should probably wait like 2 months. So.
Keeping with Kash, but pause in the Kash part right now.
Yeah, we need to. Broke Money Morgan is dead. Like
it's fine. You just ball on a budget. That's all.
Yeah, that's right.
Emphasis in the balling.
If you're trying to go on a hot girl walk, let me know. Yeah.
Like anything free.
Yeah.
You want to eat at home? Let her know.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're gonna have to start dating for food. Like not for love, for meals.
I'm so bad though, because I just like I can't even do that. Like, I can't even my emotions are like all on my face. Yeah. So I'll be like, oh my gosh. Like
some men won't notice. You could be straight up and they won't notice. They keep talking.
I'm so bad. I'm probably like the worst single person. I'm just kind of like,
I think you're doing great.
Thank you.
As an old married woman, I think
you're so not an old married woman. You're a married woman.
I'm old as dirt. My husband turns 30 next month. And I've been having a hard time with that. I'm like, I'm living with a 30-year-old. I feel like I've been cradle robbed.
What?
I feel like I am committing some kind of a sin because he's about to be 30. And I'm like, there's no way because I'm like 17. I'm 25.
I do feel the 17 part though, because I'm like, people are having kids out here.
It's crazy.
I'm still hitting curbs. Like I'm like,
well, I think you can do both. I think that the power of woman is unmatched. I think you can do it both at the same time. And I will hopefully be doing both long into the future. I won't ever stop hitting curbs. But the fact that Austin's about to be 30, for some reason it doesn't compute. Like I know that I'm 25 and I love him and he doesn't seem old to me. He doesn't look old to me. But the number 30 in my house, I sleep next to a 30-year-old at night. Are you
Girl,
serious?
You gotta...
It seems like I'm like a sugar baby. It's crazy.
See, I don't feel that way at all, I guess. And
well, 30 doesn't seem old when it's my friends, but the fact that it's someone that I'm like romantically involved with, like I'm dating a 30-year-old, I feel like my parents are gonna kill me.
Yeah. I don't know though.
I'm having a hard time.
I guess for me, maybe it's because you have been married, where like I'm in like the single girl world, and I'm so bad because I always be like dating younger or not dating, but whatever.
It.
But then it's like people are always like, no. And I've met guys that are in their 30s that still are that like F-boy vibe. Yeah. And so for me, I'm like, it doesn't really necessarily matter what age you are. Like it really is the individual person's maturity level.
For sure.
And so I guess for me, people are always like, well, the guy's 35. And I'm like, that feels too old to date for me. But I'm like, yeah, I mean, if it was the right guy and he was 30 and he was kind of vibe,
had all his hair.
So I guess in my mind, maybe I'm just like around so many people and like trying to be single that 30, I'm like, 30 is like the new 20, like literally. I don't know.
I mean, I heard you peak in your 30s. I heard that that's like the decade to do it. But I don't know. It's just maybe it's him. Like I met him when he was 24 and now he's turning 30, and I'm like, that just can't be. It just doesn't seem right. Like coming to terms with us being older, even sometimes the fact like we have a mortgage and a home. I'm like, no. Been married for 2 years. Like it still hasn't like set in yet. But anyways, we're gonna be definitely partying for that.
Yeah.
What are you doing for your birthday? Do you know?
Birthday's in April. I don't really know. I mean, right now I'm living every day at See My Pants, but I probably will have a dinner vibe, probably get a steak. So you're already invited, obviously.
I'm like, so who are you inviting?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Hannah, be so for real. Okay, he's like right next to me.
Like,
I
it's
don't
just like
really
inner
know.
circle only. So I don't know if you'll be there.
Get out of here. I have like 5 friends. I'm just I honestly don't know. I'll probably just do a chill vibe here. I really want to go on like a fun vacation this summer or something. I don't know. I just like really want to go to Europe at some point, but that's like so expensive and I don't know. God's in control. He's just been doing awesome stuff. But yeah, I'm probably going to do a dinner. So feel free to.
I love it.
I probably won't have some crazy, definitely clip that later. Edit that out.
Okay. I don't edit anything. We're fine.
We'll probably just have like, some chill vibe.
What's a fire outfit, obviously.
You'll experience a Morgan Pagel birthday.
I can't wait.
It's more so like content driven in terms of like every birthday year. I don't even know how this started, but I just go around and I give a speech and I say something about each one of my friends and then I record it.
You gave a speech at my podcast party and it was the best speech ever. You give such good speeches.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. And so last year was like a 7-minute video and I was like crying halfway through and I was just like delulu, but it's just kind of one of those things that like happens on the birthday. Yeah. So I don't know.
Cry on your birthday. It's just rite of passage.
Vibes.
You have to. It's like what cleanses you to enter the new year. You have to.
So how is 25? Because I'm going to be 25.
Oh, it's great.
And I feel like 24, I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm getting older. And like 25, I feel actually like really cool about it. But I don't know. How do you feel?
I feel like I have not been afraid to get older because every year I've liked myself more.
Okay.
So I've liked every age, honestly, since graduating high school, probably. But every year I get a little bit more in touch with myself. Like I like myself more because I get like a little bit more confident and then I'm a little bit more free to like do what I actually want to do. And you stop like at some point pretending to be somebody else. And then it's just more fun to live your life because it's less about fitting into a mold. I don't know. That sounds really cliche, but I've liked every age because I feel like I improve.
Right.
And not in the sense that like I make more money and I'm more fit. It's not improving in that way. It's improving in like accepting myself and loving myself.
That's good. I feel like it's hard for me a little bit to be like 25 in Springfield just because I do have so many friends in relationships and that's awesome for them. But obviously, if you look at my type, or I mean, obviously I'm open. Like if you're not Australian, it's okay. I would still maybe go on a date with you.
Yes,
but
we'll
it's
make it an
like,
exception.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's like it's such a college-driven city that's like it's so weird. I'll be in demographics where mentors will be like, "You're so young, like you're doing so much. It's so incredible." And I'm like,
you come to
"Thank
Springfield
you."
and you're like,
and then it's like, okay, well, everyone that is attractive is like 21, and then it's like, oh my gosh, and then you have like 35, and I'm like, okay. So sometimes I get nervous that I'm running out of time already, that I'm like 25, or I'm like, okay, well, I want to be able to travel, a year abroad or something before I'm married. And like, but God has the right timeline that everything's going to make sense. But it's just, that's what freaks me out is I'm like, okay.
Right. Well, we do live in a vacuum. Like Springfield is such a snow globe. And I feel like probably most Midwestern areas are, but it feels like you're behind if you don't have 2 kids by age 25, or if you don't have like a 401k and a husband that you hate and everything, you know? So I think
better preach. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But I feel like you have to like remember that other parts of the country, they'd be like, oh, you just got started. Like some people don't graduate college until they're 24. So you just never know. You got plenty of time. And it's right here that can make you feel like you're kind of under a very specific What's the
thing?
So
weird because it's like not something that I'm necessarily even craving. It's just kind of like you're in this demographic
you feel pressure.
That's what it is. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, my financial advisor, he's so amazing. But he's like, you want to save for like a house? You want to save for a car? You want to save for a wedding?
I want to save for a steak
I said,
dinner.
no. I said, I want to save for a flight. Like, wow. I tell him too, I'm like, I'm probably like the most wacky client you've ever had, but mark my words, you're going to be glad I'm your client in 10 years when I'm rolling in the stacks and we're putting it in those bonds. Like
hot girls have financial advisors.
He's like, I will wait, Morgan. I will wait. Like,
yeah. He's like, we'll be getting a commission in 10 years.
Yeah. Great. Literally.
But it's good that you're thinking about those things now. You don't have to have like a big lofty goal to be preparing for your future. Like it doesn't have to be like, I'm going to save up for a house right now. Like you don't know where you're going to be. So
exactly.
It's good to be preparing regardless of what you're preparing for.
Right. So
proud of you.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you, Queen.
Well, we've talked for well over an hour. I have so many things I want to bring up to you as well. But do you want to answer a serious question or a not serious question?
Let's do serious. Let's do therapy vibes.
What do you feel like has impacted your relationship with God the most? Like for better or for worse, or like what has deepened it?
Would you say like in the past year, or like over the course of my life? Like what?
Dealer's choice, whatever you want.
Oh shoot. Okay. Can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah. Just what do you think has impacted your relationship with God the most? Like what do you think has had the biggest impact on your faith or how you pray or how you see God, or like what has been impactful? It's open-ended. So however you choose.
No, that's good. Yeah. I would say like a twofold answer. I think those moments that you absolutely want to die are the moments that you cling to God the most. And there's definitely been a few moments, and I'm actually grateful for all the massive amounts of heartbreak and stuff I've went through because one, I feel like I can relate to people more. I feel like the podcast is more authentic because of it, but also I know what it looks like to literally just cling to God. Like you need air. Like there's no other solution. And even just in recent stuff, like I just know. So I'm grateful for those moments where it does deepen my faith, but then definitely the moment of, I talk about it too a number of times, is like this past summer I was a counselor at my hometown church camp and I had been there forever, and I was like a big, like I didn't care about high school. Like high school walked so that college me could run, and that was where like church camp was a big thing for me, and that was we were crazy. So it was fun, but I can't even get into those stories because like we did like a huge party at church camp. We did a rap. We snuck out of church camp. Like we were crazy. Yeah. But this past summer, like counseling, just getting to pray for so many youth that are just going through such real problems. And, you know, we're so girly pop that it's like, you know, no boo on Tuesday, punch on Friday. Like I just like, you get so caught up in the day to day that I just forgot about really like what my purpose was. Yeah. And so I think that moment was when I was like, okay, I have no idea what God's speaking to me, and that terrifies me. And so in that moment is when I really got more serious, and I asked my other co-counselor to be my accountability partner. And that's so huge because you and I've had conversations where it's like, you're pouring out, but who's pouring in? And that's been, I've been trying to be more intentional with that and like, let that happen. And so the way that God's really, and when you are pursuing and chasing after God, he's going to give you more, whether it's like more to do, like you're at the next, you know, level in Mario Kart where you're having harder challenges like this.
You're playing Guitar Hero on Level Expert.
That's what I'm saying is, but like even just in a recent season of mine, the trusting God part, no big deal. I'm like, dude, you've never failed me. Like, why would I question you now? Like, I trust you with everything. But it's been like, okay, well, what are you speaking me in that season? And half the time people are like, well, I don't hear God's voice. And it's like when you read the Bible, you learn more about God, which makes you learn more about yourself. And so even in these like recent seasons, I've been reading the Bible and it's like the most random stuff where I'm like, okay, is this what you're saying to me in this season? And then 2 weeks later, the situation will happen where I'll do what the Bible said, you know, whether it's like being kind to someone that's hurting me or like loving my enemy or just knowing like, okay, you know, this is who God says I am and not what this person is saying that I am. And so it's just been wild that I think that moment has really transformed me where now I like, the more I know scripture, I feel stronger in my faith. I feel like I'm just walking better with God. But I'm grateful for all the moments because I don't know, like you feel the Holy Spirit more. And then like people, just the most random situations, they'll just like telling me their problems and talking to me.
Yeah.
And then you have an opportunity to talk to them. So it's been crazy. And I was like a long answer,
No,
but
it's perfect.
I don't know. I would say the heartbreak like instigates the fire, but then that moment of like that God moment where I just I felt disappointed in myself. But now it's almost like when people I care about, when I see them like falling or hurting, and like it breaks my heart in a whole different way. And so I don't know. I think I'm like my relationship with God is very on fire, which has been awesome. But it's just weird seasons. So.
No, I totally get it. Well, it's one of those things like whenever things are going well, you don't think about picking up your Bible or about praying as much because things are going well. And whenever you are going through something challenging or you're heartbroken or something is difficult or you really want something, that's whenever you like hit your knees and you're like, God, I want this so bad. And it's always humbling for me to like reflect on those times and be like, oh, I haven't really been journaling as much or I haven't been praying as much because things have been good. And now all of a sudden I want something or I'm struggling and then I come back. So that's been like an ongoing pillar of my faith is trying to remember to stay diligent in the times in between and like praise God in the good times and the bad times and not just come to God and be like, oh my gosh, like I have a flat tire again. Like, what are you gonna do? So it is challenging to remember all of that because I think we're so imperfect that it's easy whenever life is good to just be like, this is amazing. Everything is fine. Like, I don't need to pray for anything. And then the next thing you know, like you're begging for something. But I also feel like I have a humorous relationship with God. Like in my version of period. Like he's laughing, we're having a good time. But I always joke that if I'm praying, I get nervous for what I'm praying for. So if I'm praying for patience, I'm like, just give me the patience. Like, I don't want a trial, please. Yeah. No more trials. Like, don't make me wait for something. Or if I'm like praying for strength, get hit with something I need to be strong for. And I know that that's how sometimes you get those things and how you hone your personality and your grace and your wisdom. All those come from life circumstances. But now that I've lived, a few years, then I'll be praying and I'm like, God, give me grace. And I'm like, I don't want a situation where I have to be gracious. I just want to be gracious. Like I just want to have it. Or if I'm praying for wisdom, guess what? I'm going to have to go through something so I can learn something so I can be wise. Yeah. I don't want to. I just want the wisdom. Yeah. So it doesn't work that way.
I feel like the hardest thing, I was telling Hannah this, like the hardest part of me being a Christian is to not like be petty. The way that I so badly just like, there's just so much information that I can't talk about from just years. Yeah. But that's, as a Christian, like you're called to forgive. I mean, boundaries are huge. I can forgive you and still not have you in my life because that's something that like you
don't have to forget it either. Like you can forgive someone and still like not ever really want them to re-enter across that line. Like forgiving is not giving somebody an all access pass to your life.
100%. But it's understanding too that like God has the final word. Like there's no revenge. We don't have to do whatever. Like he's going to take care of it. And I believe like the truth always comes to the surface. I've seen it in everything. And so there's just like no fear in that situation of, oh, like what if someone's cheating on me? Or like, what if someone's, it's like, it's going to come out. Yeah. So.
And you know what? Maybe the next person won't be so kind and gracious as you and they'll get revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I agree with what you're saying. Like you shouldn't root for those things. But in my experience, like either karma does come around and gets someone who deserves it, or you heal to a point that you don't care anymore. So either way, there's peace for you. Yeah. Which is great. And it's answered prayer. Yeah. Last question. Okay. Who's your TV show comfort character?
Michael Gary Scott. I'm just
kidding. Amazing answer. Fantastic answer.
Love him. Yeah. I mean, he's just an OG. I feel so bad because, okay, I'm going to expose myself a little bit. I hope this person is not listening, but I'm totally outing myself, I bought a Roku from someone a long time ago and I've been using all of their accounts for like 4 years.
Listen,
the only thing
sharing is caring.
I know. The only thing that is on there that's mine is like the Netflix and it's my parents and then I haven't updated their email. So right now, like YouTube and TikTok is like my form of streaming, which I mean, from a marketing perspective, we could just like get into how everything is changing. But yeah, I need a new show, to be honest. Like I don't even have any.
Have you watched New Girl?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen all of New Girl. Yeah, I don't know. I tried watching The Bear last night, fell asleep hard. I don't know. I'm more of like, I want TV to rot my brain. Like the whole Love is Blind thing, like I haven't watched it in years. Now this new season's blowing up. So I've seen clips and stuff like that. Go
back and watch iCarly. It's great.
I guess I have to.
It's classic. It's on Netflix.
Well, I'm really excited actually for the Nickelodeon documentary about what's his face.
I know.
Like,
I
I'm
know.
excited.
We'll
It probably dropped. I don't even know when it
We'll have a
dropped.
release party.
Oh my gosh, can we? At
I love it.
Wild Rose.
Yes. Yes.
Our
Everyone
queen.
stay tuned. We're going to be having a party.
Yes.
I have a million other things I could ask you. Half the questions that we talked about were not even on my outline. I just really wanted to bring them up.
No,
So,
I love it.
Any last words? Anything else you want to say?
Anything I want to say? I would say the one thing is like in terms of your faith, I think it's important to have accountability partners or someone that you admire that you think is stronger. Because I think for me, in like some of my groups, not saying that I was like having this awesome going on, but like in my circle, I felt like I was pouring out. And so it's important for me where you're talking about like in those good moments when you're not going through the hell, it's like when my accountability partner is like, well, what's God speaking to you? And she's like, I feel like you need to grow here, you know, and you like, what are you doing in this area? And I'm like, okay, like it's so humbling. And I feel like there's always areas to be like growing and stuff like that. And I like when someone calls it out, you know? And so I think that's something that would be important, but also I would say, you know, we're both, well, I'm 24, you're 25, you know, we're out here. The last thing I'll say is, I mean, you just went through a crazy emotional weekend, and there's things that like I'm going through, and I know like you and me will post all the fun things, but there really are things in the background that we can't even talk about and whatnot. And so it's just kind of like, you know, give grace if someone you love is going through a hard time or they're navigating things and they don't want to post or they don't want to chat, like they'll come to you when they're ready. That's kind of like where I'm at right now. And so I just
give
feel
yourself
like
grace. Like for people who are looking online and they're like, oh my gosh, everyone's having a good time but me. You just don't know the half of it. Like you might see people's posts that are happy and, you know, life is all sunshine and rainbows, but you just don't know what's going on. And if you're thinking that you're the only person that's not having a straight up great time, then just remember it's not all online.
Like one of my mentors literally was praying over me in the hot tub at the gym the other day. So I mean, it's like y'all don't even know. So I mean, just, you know, we're all out here, we're all going through things, but you know, God is good. And it's always like, you can always reach out to me or I'm sure Hannah about anything. So that's all I have.
I like to say positive only feedback. So you can reach out to me if you have a compliment.
If you don't like the episode, just give it 5 stars. We'll deal with it later.
If you have a problem you want to talk about, you can reach out. If you have a compliment, you can reach out. If you have negative feedback, you cannot, unfortunately, reach out at this time. I will let you know if I start taking criticism. It's not being accepted currently.
Yeah. She's like, maybe in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
No.
I will consider it in a few months. For now, we're still not taking criticism.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
We'll plug your podcast. Give me the handles.
Oh my gosh. Keeping Up With Kash on Instagram with 4 H's and a K. I'm on everything. Apple, Spotify, YouTube.
Venmo.
If you want to add to my, you know.
Your dinner fund.
Donate to my dinner fund. How did you know I was going to say that? Like,
it's a telepathy.
Hannah knows me. Like
it's my antenna.
If you're trying to skateboard, I'm just if you're Australian, like
if you have a single friend,
if you want to ball out and play some basketball,
that's
it.
Get absolutely smoked on the court. Hit up Morgan. You want to get dunked on?
Hit some threes
at 5 a.m.
If you're trying to go on a walk. If you have hair, okay. No, we're done here. Yes. Thanks, Hannah, so much for letting me up on the pod. I love you.
Follow Keeping Up With Kash. Listen to
love
our episode.
You guys. Stay fresh.